extremely delightful in inviting our today's first speaker of IECCTSI 2021, Dr. Sundaresan Perumal. Dr. Sundaresan is from Islamic Science University of Malaysia. He is here with us to share about immersive security and information warfare world. Welcome, Dr. Sundaresan, and it's so nice to have you here. And next 25 minutes is yours. You can take over the session, sir.
Thank you. See the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, as we have participants across the world here. And if you're from UK, I guess it's morning now, and now we're in Malaysia. So it is afternoon, and if anyone from Australia, I guess it is in evening. So before I get started, so I would like to express my sincere appreciation for inviting me as the keynote speaker in this international conference on computing and technological solution with artificial intelligence. So the area that we're going to talk today is going to be on the immersive in security in the information warfare world. So we know that the cyberspace, or although the word of cyber is a mainstream vernacular to what exactly it refers to elusive. Once the term of science fiction based on then emerging field on computer control and communication known as cybernetics. So it now refers generally to electronic automation. That means the corresponding terms of cyberspace has definition that range from conceptual to technical, and has been claimed by some of them to be the fourth domain. Means that the land, sea, air, and now cyberspace become the other fourth domain of the world. So there are numerous definitions of cyberspace and cybersecurity scattered towards the literature. You can browse all around the net, So our intent is not to engage in a debate on semantic, so we don't include this definition here. So moreover, such debate are unnecessary here, as for our purpose, especially on this security conference. So we generally use the term of cyber not as a noun, but as an adjective that modifies its subjects with the prosperity of supporting a collections of automated electronic system accessible all around the networks. So this is where we are trying to park the actual adjective of cyberspace. So let's look into how does this technological have disrupted the globalization. So let's focus only on the data part, where we have some black spot where the root of data leaks happens. See, the totally decentralized structure is one of the reasons why this happens. Then always there is what we call a backdoor that leads into this. And of course, the insufficient cryptographic tools and software in the world have played another role. But we still need to understand that the technological disruption, I would say, are the mostly digital in nature. So in a way to say that the automated knowledge, the network, the connected objects, advanced robotics, 3D printings, and of course, not to forget cloud computing, where 85% of our company stores data in the cloud. And this practice is becoming more commonplace. We do have the mobile internets and autonomous vehicles that we are talking about, flying helicopters, flying taxis, and all these are taking place. And now, so if we really look at the globalization impact from the technology, until 2011, digital risk or cyber risk did not appear in World Economic Forum as a major risk ranking. But if you see, if anybody follows all this, if you see from 2019, World Economic Forum studies says that technology will play a fundamental role in the risk landscape over the next decade, including data theft. When I say the data theft, I'm talking about personal data, data from companies, public organizations, and governments. Of course, governments is there. So this is one portion of globalization impact. So let's look at the other part of it. We are still talking about the identity theft, the cyber attacks, as well as deadly bugs. You need to take this word very clearly. Deadly bugs, as shown, if you really follow the recent Boeing 737 MAX crash, because the preliminary investigation report on the Ethiopian Airlines crash nearly blames the accident a failure on the maneuvering characteristic augmentation system. This is an internal system built by the human, and it stalls the protection system. So what I'm trying to say over here is not only was the information sent to the probes incorrect, but it was not possible for the pilot to take control over the aircraft. So the thing that we need to think over here again and again is this accident shows that the risk of the technological or digital failure, as well as the need to have them tested and certified by independent authorities. So it also shows that digital accidents are not necessarily the results of the attack. It is by the human failure. But the human failure here, what I'm referring to is the programming people, the man-machine links, the processes, the algorithm that we use to build all this is playing an important role when it comes to technological disruptions towards the globalizations. Okay, so the landscape, the next stage that what we are looking at is we are looking at the cyber warfare, that this is another biggest threat that we are facing now. So if you look at the cyber warfare doctrinal development, it is emphasizing on indeed developing several distinct forms of how does this information cyber warfare going to be placed towards any other developing country. So this cyber warfare, and especially when you talk about cyber warfare, we talk about non-kinetic. Actually, we have two things. One is kinetic and non-kinetic. When you say non-kinetic type of conflict, we are talking about on a penetration testing, damaging or subverting the enemy IT system, cryptography warfare, crypto analysis, or code breaking in another way, or we aimed at the intercepting enemy communication while defeating any attempt to intercept their own. So this what refers to the non-kinetic warfare. But when you talk about the kinetic warfare, then you're talking about destroying enemy forces towards application. For an example, you may refer to an explosive impacts, tactical maneuver, or it can be anything that could physically give a damage. Okay, so when we say non-kinetic, we are looking at the information network capability degradations. We are talking about, of course, it's quite familiar, denial of service, and of course, defensive and offensive part. And these include cyber targeting of economic, governmental, and military network infrastructure. So I would like to share something over here. But in this example, I'm going to give you only 3 examples of what is cyber doctrine that was developed against a country. I mean, this is a country, so-called a country, that developed a cyber warfare doctrine towards another country. I don't want to mention which country is this. You may browse this thing on a dark net, and this the complete document is available in the dark net. Okay. So first of all, I said the doctrine means is a military principle of set of strategic that a country usually prepared to attack against another country. So in their cyber warfare doctrine, it includes the element, number 1 was the command and control type of a warfare. So their actual target is to effectively destroying the enemy decision making. And the second one would be manner of the current and the future innovation related to the electronic warfare, how to attack the cryptography and the steganography techniques, because most of the military works on this platform, and also to look at the space communication as well as the other type of radio electronic methods they are using. And of course, not to forgotten about the hackers, to get the sufficient essential personnel who have the necessary skill to go after their system. Then, of course, the creation of condition of economic uncertainty, the most important to bring down our government. So effectively putting the adversary at the disadvantage, thus disabling the ability to make a very good strategy and bring down the economical decision. So we know that human threat is another biggest threat that we are always talking about, because some of the biggest threat to cybersecurity comes not from the technology, but it is from the people who use it. Because 68% of the organization have observed the rise of the insider attack. But unfortunately, from 2020, we have a new terms for this, because we had to maintain a social distance to minimize COVID-19. So infects rates and all these things will be taken into a commonplace. We have a new term so-called remote working. So work from home, this WFH is totally a new thing for the entire world. Even though some portion of the world were working from home all the while, but when it comes to the entire world, now everybody is working from home. So the freedom to work from home is a huge bond to employee and employer, and it is vital in year 2020. But the other part is it brings another host of a security risk, which become a biggest threat for every type of security of the industry. So we have to work on the cyber resilience, how we want to overcome this and to make the operation of the business to be normal. So here we even have the most secure organization can still fall a victim to a cyber attack. Where this started? So let's look at the attackers. So their main aim, or their major aim, I would say, would be always the weakness of the existing system. And they have preemptively considered how something might go wrong and what could limit the damage in such a situation. So resiliently will enable you to recover from attack. So if you try to acknowledge that your security system may fail, despite you being effort enabled for a preemptively consider how something might go wrong and what you can do to limit the damage of such situation. So in another word, thinking resiliently will enable you to recover from an attack, even if rare. When one happens, the consequence can be crippling if you have not planned how you're going to respond. This is the most important element in cybersecurity that we are looking at, because we have to understand that history teaches us that if you assume that something cannot possibly go wrong, you may find it difficult if it is not impossible. Okay, so I mean, again, we talk about the old, very old story when the Germans in the World War II deemed that we had the cryptography machine, the Enigma machine, to be uncrackable. But so never even consider the possibility that the British were intercepting and decrypting their message. So why? Because the cyber resilient were not been put it over there, you know. So in another way, we could think that a proper planning, you know, we just take another example that RMS Titanic, Royal Mail Ship Titanic, was deemed unsinkable. So they only have 20 lifeboats with a capacity over 1,000 people with the ship itself. But then the ship had a capacity of 3,000 people. So these are the planning that what we are talking, we couldn't take for granted. Okay. So the other part is, let's look at what we are talking about, the real immersive security, because we are moving towards immersive security. Because when you say immersive security, we are talking about a radical approach, how we wanted to advance our visualization technique to enable multi-dimensional situation of a network. Then, of course, this immersive security are going to look into visibility into every dark corner of the research in making effectively to look after the cyber threat, as you might be standing in the same room as the invaders of your network. So the other part would be the lead the security analyze with a multiple sensory input that provide an immediate situational solution. I recall back the Boeing 737 MAX crash, because just one sensor faulty where the pilot couldn't control it, the entire story went off. Okay. So in a way that we are trying to say that everything is to be taken care. So I would soon say all the security specialists will be heading towards the world of omniscient, which is knowing everything, omnipotence, having unlimited power, and the omnipresence being widespread constantly in every situation you encounter. That how the internet is all about. Of course, the word omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence is more towards the theology, but even eventually this theology will be the artificial intelligence, because you have to believe in this, because you have started to believe that the world is moving towards a space colonization, where, I mean, 7 years back we had a rover in Mars, and today we have a Perseverance in Mars, and yesterday I see there's a helicopter flying in the Mars. You know, we have a super intelligence taking place over there, and we started to think about radical life extension and many more. We are having a 3D printed bladder who've been implanted in a human successfully. We have a 3D heart who've been printed successfully. So all this is possible. Now look into why immersive security. There's a reason why we have immersive security. You know, so the immersive security going to be educated in a part where they do not provide a truly effective experience for consuming security data and analyzing the responded to threat. So this going to utilize the implication of situation awareness to enable the security professional for a real experience how the actual strategy going to be handled. So from the immersive security, what we are talking about is we're going to transform this immersive security into a machine intelligence. So when we talk about machine intelligence, we are talking about automation at the application level. So this refers to detect the anomalies better and faster than human, replacing operators in monitoring tasks, and decrease the false positive to free up the analyze time when it comes to the security analyzations. And the other part would be the machine intelligence in cyber role. So when you talk about machine intelligence in cyber role, this machine intelligence in cyber role offer an opportunity to evolve certain cyber roles. For an example, you have the testing unit, the evaluation unit, the tier 1 security operations center, we call SOC operators, system administrators, and the infrastructure support guys, all these guys to be eliminated in machine intelligence, because the emerging role into the enterprise level. For an example, your cyber data scientists, machine learning model trainers and maintenance will be taking out the role of the security element. So the modern approach using machine intelligence can elevate the mission critical tool. For an example, you're going to introduce workflow automations, behavior analytics, streaming analytics, and all this going to transform the security orchestration into data fusion, sensing, and warning function within the operation. Okay. Obviously, this is something that very complex from the security element, but this is achievable. So look at the cyber threat. This is quite common that at every level we have cyber threats. That our cyber threats is either from the prevent, detect, and response, or they might be a people process technology, or the most well-known was on the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. This plays a very vast perceptions on the security, and you have seen this in most of the books and all that. Okay, so as a conclusion, what I am trying to put it up here is no matter the size of your organization, cybersecurity is no longer an optional. It's an essential component of business to success and the critical defense against the risk of the information age. So the only question left is to decide when and where your journey will begin. So I would like to end the keynote with two quotes here, that the future is a direction, not a destination for security. And the second one is, throughout history, people with new idea who think differently and try to change things have always called a troublemaker. So I'm here say I would like to change this thing from a troublemaker to become a solution maker. Okay, so from now onwards, let's gear up and be a real security innovators. Okay, stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sundaresan, for sharing your valuable time and information with us. The concepts of cyber warfare threats, doctrine, immersive security, and machine learning in cyber role was great. Cyber attacks are not from technology, but from the users. It's a damn real.
Visit our website, citeracademy.no, for more information about our training programs, boot camps, courses, conferences, research publications, Microsoft and Cisco certifications.